What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this motherfucking YouTube shit. Wow, what the fuck?
What's up? It's your boy Catch you on YouTube shit. Hey man, say man, we are lit that turn take the motherfucker day. So here outside big crip and the gang shooting outside shit, man. Free Palestine, free Congo, Russia, do your thing, and Texas, stand the fuck up. Each day is a new day to be a better version of yourself. Never let somebody break down for that. Never let somebody tell you who you are. But also never put yourself in a position to belong. Let's stay humble. Let's do a revolution on the movement. Keep your way first. Come and choose a Hebrew Israelite as a real Jew. We out here. Alright. Boom. Jay, two motherfucker day. Jay hitting outside. Big crip and the gang shooting outside shit, man. Gang, hey, turn up. And the gang go. Bruh. You know, this sports analyst, bruh, you know, it get difficult. You know what I'm saying? When you in sports analyst, bruh, and you covering people, and you know everybody know you, and it's hard like to get like any type of like recognition out of it, and you know you feel like you deserve money on raises and bullshit like that. So we got Molly Qerm leaving ESPN, you know what I'm saying? But that's not crazy part. The person they talking about getting in is crazy. I forgot her name. They talking about bringing somebody else in, and she's like a really big. Yeah, Malika. Her name Malika. Yeah, Malika Andrews. I don't know. Like I said, man, Molly Qerm been doing ESPN for a long ass time. You know, with Stephen A. Smith. You dig what I'm saying? Crip. You know what I'm saying? Like people used to hate her. You know what I'm saying? They used to hate how she talked over people, how she, you know, she just had these random ass comments and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I think when she finally started to shut the fuck up, that's when they started like, okay. But I feel like they been ready to change this bitch low key. She wanted more money out. She had no personality. I think Malika Andrews will be a good addition to the show. But like I said, man, a lot of shit has been happening at ESPN already. Like motherfuckers been getting at that bitch left and right. So we got Stephen A. Smith, his thoughts on what's going on, and shit, that's how it goes. They're gonna break it down. We got Stephen A. thoughts. Let's get into it. Shout out to self-talk. First off, I want to say, man, forget that raggedy bit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. Yeah, she probably one of the best female analysts they had on ESPN. Because a lot of motherfuckers was raggedy. They don't know how to fucking do anything. But let's not act like, you know what I'm saying, people was always fucking with her. You know what I'm saying? People used to dog her ass out. Talking about she talked too much and all this bullshit. Hey, it is what it is, you know. Like I said, man, it's always gonna be somebody, you know what I'm saying, who's gonna do what they do, you know. It is what it is.
Oh my God, Kerry Champion. Kerry Champion. I know that was you, Kerry Champion. No, I love you.
I'm not Kerry Champion.
Huh?
I'm not Kerry Champion.
No, you do the sports reporter.
I do, but I'm not Kerry Champion.
You're the finest woman in sports, Kerry Champion.
Unfortunately not, but I appreciate the compliment. My name is Malika.
Unfortunately not.
Andrew? Oh, that's Jalen Brown girl. You Jalen Brown girl.
I think you're a little confused, but
I'm confused.
You can tell they ain't, whatever they are, it ain't what it was, right? You can just
But
smell
it was
that.
something, when it was something with them, maybe he was giving her assurances that she was going to get taken care of.
I bet. Because he signs off on every deal that's on that show. Like, you ain't getting on that show if he ain't rocking with you. And they all admit it. They all said it. Dan O said it. Perkins said it. Ryan Clark, you know, that he got to be like, yeah. So if he would have just went and said, yo, hook her up, dog. I'm sure it would have happened, but there's a reason he did.
And why not?
Okay, so we got to talk about this Molly Qerm situation, guys, because new information has came out, and the reason why she had left ESPN. Marcellus Wiley was talking about it, as you guys can see in that intro clip. And I want to give you guys more details on what Marcellus Wiley was talking about, because he was talking about how Stephen A. Smith has the power to keep Molly Qerm on that show, and we all know that's true,
He
because
said,
Stephen A.
fuck
Smith
that
just
hoe.
recently
Simple.
flexed his power to Cam Newton live to his face, and was pretty much telling Cam Newton that he's the reason why he's on that show, and everybody else that comes on that show, they can thank him for giving them the opportunity to be on his show. Let's check out the clip right
There's
here.
plenty of people throughout ESPN's history I have helped get theirs.
Yeah, I seen
And
this shit.
anybody who would challenge what the hell I just said to you on national television, they better beware. They better not utter that publicly. Because I can tell you, and I didn't say one. I said many. And by the way, Cam Newton, while you're doing that, you can ask the bosses themselves. Plenty of times, spanning my 20 plus years here. Look at the roster. Look at the people here. Look at the diversity on the air. Oh, trust me, I will proudly stand up on a banner and say, I got a little something to do with that. Because there's plenty of people that I have fought for over the years. That has never, ever changed. To answer that question
I'm
directly.
probably one of those. So shout out to Steve A for that. So I appreciate it. No, so back to that.
You ain't the only one on the screen.
No.
And also what Marcellus Wiley was talking about with Kendrick Perkins, he was talking about this clip that Kendrick Perkins was talking about his contract with ESPN.
I'm Stephen A. because, quick story, I'm on the back end. This is my second year, right? My second year working at ESPN, I was working days. And days is you may work like 85 days out the year. It's a day rate. You're not a full-time employee. It's a day rate. They may pay you
days, you only get 80
$2,500,
shit.
$2,700 a day. I run out of days, and we get close to the playoff time. Stephen A. called. He like, what happened? I just requested you on first take for this whole entire week. I'm like, I'm out of days. He like, I'm going to call you right back. I'm like, all right, cool. Call me right back. He like, you'll be hearing from the bosses tomorrow. Tore that contract up. I had another year on that contract. Tore that up and gave me a whole nother contract for another 3 years at like $700,000 a year.
Now that more information is coming out, remember ESPN also put out the new report.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because if he run out of days, Stephen A. Smith get that nigga more.
After the news broke with Molly Qerm's departure, they had put out the info that Malika Andrews just signed a contract extension with ESPN, and that was pretty much them saying like, "Hey, she's now your replacement."
Oh,
She's
Malika
gonna be
Andrews?
the
That
face.
bitch funny
Hit that
as hell.
like button for me if you haven't already. That helps this YouTube channel.
Hey,
Don't forget to hit that subscribe
Malika
button, hit that
Andrews?
notification bell, stay up to date.
I see why he was doing that in the beginning. True.
Report comes out the next morning. Instead of Molly showing up to work, she puts
Hey,
out
I
an
can fuck
Instagram
with
post.
Malika
And in
Andrews.
that
That bitch
Instagram
funny
post, you
too.
guys remember,
True.
one thing she didn't mention was anybody by name, including Stephen A. Smith. Now, I've left the show or two before, and trust me, you're going to name some names when you leave that. Just think about Shannon Sharp when he left Undisputed. Goodness, it took about 10 minutes of all the names he dropped. That's my point. Molly didn't do that. So that lets you know already there's some friction behind the scenes. Okay, so they're reporting that it's supposed to be the end of the year. Molly, by action, says it's right now. Instead of I'm leaving now, I'm leaving right now. She made it immediate. And then Stephen A. Smith makes the statement. Now, interesting once again, see, peep all these differences, right? These contradictions in terms of how they usually move and how they're moving with Molly. Max Kellerman left. Stephen A. Smith didn't even show up for the last day. Remember that? Interesting.
I think he was tired
and we
of
all
Max.
know
Max
that
was saying some
typically they don't talk about
ridiculous
talent
ass
when they're
statements,
gone.
nigga.
They just say thank you for your services and we wish you well. This is a little different for many reasons. So when they're trying to paint it, it looks a lot different. Here we go. This is what's going on behind the scenes on the real. Molly was going through a contract negotiation, obviously, and that was not going well, obviously, because Molly wasn't getting what she wanted. What did Molly want?
How much
Molly
you think she was
wanted
gonna
to
get?
do other things at the network, which included hosting her own show. Kind of the Max Kellerman plan. I leave First Take, that's fine. Y'all got other shows out here, or we can create a show, whatever it may be. Let me land on my feet within the network, still be at the worldwide leader, and do my thing. Now, weren't signing off on her
He
not
hit
only
the
hosting another show,
motherfucking
but doing other shows within the network.
Kim
So
Kardashian's on her good
what
side.
happened was offers for her to stay there.
They
Reportedly,
rubber
she's making like around $500,000 a year. Now, contrast that to $20 million a year for Stephen A. Smith, and he's number one on the show, and you number two on the show, you can feel a certain type of way. But hey, you got to only eat what you kill, and they didn't feel that she was killing it to the point where they would make her a better offer. And when I say we, I'm not just talking about Burke Magnus. I'm not just talking about all the other bosses that Stephen A. Smith mentions. I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith as well. Because remember, he's an executive producer on that show. And as he will always remind you, that's his show. Think about it. So, Molly wants more money to stay on that show. If I'm going to stay, you're going to have to pay me for my suffering. Or give me what I want, give me some more, and let me go do more. They balked at both. So now, what else is going on behind the scenes? The relationship with Stephen A. Smith, one of the worst kept secrets in the business, is that they have a good relationship. They don't, right? They kind of tired on each other, etc. Not going to go into all the messy details, but the point is they weren't cool with each other to the point someone you work with for 10 years, you don't even mention them when you're gone.
Damn.
And you don't even give them
It be like that. You know what I'm saying? It be like that.
On air. Like, hey, we did this thing together. This thing is over, right? So that lets you know the business was ugly behind the scenes to the point, and the personal relationship, that I won't even give you that grace. I won't even give you that out. Now, think about this. That relationship allows him to know information that others don't, and have influence that others don't. How much you can get paid. You can get the money if I sign off on it. Or you can get what you want if I sign off on it. But the thing is, he didn't. How did he know so much about Shannon's situation? And as soon as Shannon went through that fire, he was the first one on air saying, come on, man, and talking on both sides because of the bosses, because he was in that meeting. He was in that meeting knowing what the fate of Shannon Sharp was months before Shannon Sharp knew. Months before the world knew. That's my point. So he runs with the bosses. And the last point that I wanted to make is
going on.
One of the bosses in particular, everyone knows in the industry who that person is, but no need to out him. The point is, that person, along with Stephen A. Smith, ain't seeing the talent, not seeing the love for Molly Qerm. And she knew this.
I mean, she didn't have no talent.
When that report comes out, I guess
everybody used to hate her.
Or more importantly, she's like,
tell her shut the fuck up. Why she talking?
In a situation
Malika Andrews gonna be a way new addition, better addition.
Beat it up in the comments. Tell me your thoughts about it. But when you know you need to do something, and you know it's best for you, what you waiting for? I think Molly woke up that morning, Tuesday morning, said, like, what am I waiting for?
Yeah.
So we see a situation. Think about if you're Molly, you're working at a network where Mina Kimes is making way more money than you, and Mina Kimes is the number on what show, right? You're number 2.
I get her though, like she ain't getting paid what she wanted, and she feel like she deserve it.
So your point is,
you know, so you gotta do what you gotta do.
You know, you see Malika Andrews, all that. That's a different lane. That's a whole different animal, different beast. But the point is, she's seeing not only people getting paid, and none of them really on the number 1 show. Think about it, Malika's show. Always struggling in terms of who's going to be on there. Oh, the cast is not it. Oh, they haven't got their traction yet, but she getting paid. Mina Kimes, a lot of people criticizing her. At the same time, she getting paid. And then you, Molly.
Yeah, she on the
number 1 show we got.
Yeah.
And I can't get none. That's what was going on behind the scenes. So Molly finally woke up, said, fed up. Enough is enough.
Oh, yeah, man. Salute to Marcellus Wiley for breaking everything down, man. And like I said, guys, I've been breaking it down on my YouTube channel, Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerm relationship, because I was catching things where I was pointing out specific things about them that everybody was saying, oh, you know, that most people in the comments was like, yo, nah, self-talk, you got it wrong. You're just being messy. You just made a point in this video. Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerm is good. But I kept showing you guys video after video, stuff that was happening with Molly Qerm. Remember when Stephen A. Smith was up for that contract negotiation, she even said, like, oh, you know, I wish I had my own show. I wish I had my own things.
We need sweet seats.
The rich get richer. I mean, how do these?
I'm just saying.
You know what's funny in life? Once you make a lot of money, I mean, I wouldn't know, but like you're kind of that's when you start getting everything for free.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
Someday, if I was ever lucky enough to have my own channel, I can't even imagine what I would do.
Channel.
You got everything. I don't know. I don't know.
I've never
Easter Sunday.
I've never had my own channel. I've never had my own channel. When you have your own network, I was about to say, when you have your own network, you run the this a lot. Yeah, we're not.
You all run it. I don't do anything.
No, Lakeman Bucket, that's the end of it. I don't run it. I don't run it. I have both. Oh, no.
Don't even try it. We're no longer going. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. Okay.
You can't go to the bathroom around here without getting your approval first. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
We're all just living in Stephen A's world. Stephen A's world. Look at us. We're peons here in New York. You see what's happening.
Most definitely. Most definitely, nigga. Trip, nigga. At least she knew it. she knew it. Bitch, you know who the brain around this production, bitch. You goofy ass.
On ESPN. She used to be in football segments. She used to be on other shows.
What she thought she was,
She's more
bitch?
energetic than just sitting
Fuck,
down.
nigga. They just came to look at her for the eye. That's all she got, bitch.
Doing the push-up
Her
contest
talking
with Stephen A. Smith.
subpar.
You see her doing all these
Bitch, she didn't
push-ups.
have shit,
Like, that
really.
goes to show you, man, she's just tired of just
Can't
sitting
do
down,
push-ups.
being this commentator that gets a lot of flack, mind you, for cutting people off and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure now it's like, yo, I've been here long enough to get my own show and obviously
Damn,
get a
Stephen
better
made her ass
contract
do the
deal
push-ups
as
by
well,
herself.
while being able to
That's
do more.
insane.
So I do agree with Marcellus Wiley that is exactly what
Hey, they
went
put her
down
ass
and
to
what
work
happened
in that
with that contract
motherfucker.
negotiation, man. So I would like to hear y'all thoughts about today's video. Get in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Catch you guys on the next one. Y'all guys, peace.
Hey, man, shout out to JD Black. Yeah, Somali Qerm leaving. I mean, like I said, man, she wasn't bringing up to the fucking channel anyway, bitch. She was just a piece of meat. Let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can get another bit who look better. And you know what I'm saying? Just being honest, you feel me? But let's see what's going on, bro.
What is going on, guys?
But she
I know
did
it's
kind
kinda
of carry
late,
ESPN,
so to
so we ain't act
speak,
like
as
she
far
was out here
when I
with
upload
doing
videos, but I
dumb
saw
work.
this news story.
She was
And this
carrying low
news is
key, but
breaking
is what it is.
right as I'm recording this video. Molly Qerm is reportedly leaving First Take at the end of the year. Not only that, she's leaving ESPN. She's done with ESPN, and she's going to be leaving at the beginning of the year. Now, apparently, ESPN were surprised by this, and they offered her a contract, but she's not looking to renew. Again, there are rumors out there, but I'm not going to go into those. I mean, things will reveal themselves in time. But this is very surprising. But I don't think it's really surprising to me. She's been there, almost 10 years? And I think she's at a point to where she probably wants to do something else. Also, there's no telling how that show is going to do. I believe they brought in Cam Newton to replace Shannon Sharp, but y'all got to understand, that show was floundering before Shannon Sharp got there. Shannon Sharp brought some well-needed
He did put the pizzazz back in that bitch.
But then he messes up and gets himself fired, and now he's no longer there. I want people to understand that, women like Molly Qerm, they're not going to stay at a job.
They're not getting paid that much?
Like you used to see women at ESPN stay there for 10, 15 years or so. We seen women who were hosts of shows on ESPN.
But I gotta say, man, I feel like she didn't really
You're not
bring
going to see
nothing,
that
but she
anymore.
could have.
Now, apparently, this is her choice.
If they get Malika
So,
Andrews
let's get into
or anybody who got
she apparently
a
is leaving.
decent brain,
Now,
bitch.
this is according to Awful Announcing. It says, according to reports, Molly Qerm, the longtime host of ESPN's First Take, is in her final months with the network. Austin Karp of Sports Business Journal reported on Monday night, during Monday Night Football, that Qerm is planning on leaving ESPN at the end of 2025. He also detailed that the network offered Qerm a new contract, but she opted to leave. Now I want to know, did they offer her the same amount of money? Did they offer her less money? Is it a money decision, or is it a situation where she just is on burnout?
I think it was more money.
Again, I have nothing against Molly Qerm. I've had my criticisms.
They didn't like each other. I don't know.
I haven't watched much sports, much ESPN or First Take this year. a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah, I watched a little bit.
But First Take is not the show it once was. It just isn't. It hasn't been that way in a long time. And Molly Qerm has missed shows. And recently, and I'm going to get into it, but recently her replacement got praise. Don't believe me? Let's look at this article from a month ago. ESPN viewers praise First Take Molly Qerm replacement.
Damn.
Molly Qerm wasn't leading the charge for First Take this Friday morning. The longtime ESPN host had a day off for undisclosed reasons. Qerm has been the host of First Take since 2015. She does an excellent job handling some of the most unpredictable personalities in sports TV, such as Stephen A. Smith, Chris Mad Dog Russo, and Ryan Clark. In addition to covering all the championship events, Qerm has a breadth of knowledge with celebrity red carpets, A-list, musical, and TV, film, guest interviews, UFC, MMA coverage, tennis, boxing, and more. This reads like a resume.
That's what I'm saying, bitch.
This reads like a complete resume. For her next job.
Yeah, she been doing that shit for me. I ain't saying she was trash.
Qerm is a philanthropist and ambassador.
People didn't even like her like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying she was trash. She did her job. That's what we're not saying. But I feel like it could be somebody who does a little bit better.
Endometriosis awareness, which is something that she's been dealing with for quite some time. With the NFL regular season around the corner, Qerm and the First Take crew will have plenty of topics to argue about. In the meantime, Peter Schrager is handling any training camp related stories this Friday. I find this, when I saw this article, I had to do a little bit of research, see what, if there's anything that I would have missed. And apparently, a month ago, she missed the dates and he filled in. And listen, y'all gotta understand, she probably reads everything people says. And maybe she's at a point of burnout where she really doesn't want to do it anymore and she wants to do something else. I could definitely see Molly Qerm trying to go into Hollywood entertainment.
Porn star?
Right? Because she's been in sports for a long time, even before she got the ESPN. She was at other networks, speaking on doing sports. I could definitely see her trying to do more entertainment stuff. And maybe she's just burnt out on it and doesn't want to be a part of the show anymore. And maybe they weren't going to offer her more money. Maybe they're going to offer her the same amount of money and not necessarily an increase, which is probably what she may have wanted. Let's go back to this. Molly Qerm, the host of ESPN's First Take since 2015, is leaving the network in the year. Sources tell SBJ. Qerm first started ESPN in 2006, working in digital mobile efforts before moving over to the news team in 2008. Sources tell SBJ that ESPN offered Qerm a contract, but she chose to move on. Qerm is a Connecticut native and UConn graduate, has had many different roles in her time at ESPN before becoming the host of First Take. She was an interactive host of College Football Live and a reporter for Fantasy Football Now. For just over 10 years, Qerm has been the host of First Take. She was the show's fill-in host during the summer of 2015, then became a full-time host when the previous host, Kerry Champion, began hosting SportsCenter, which was a disaster. Before joining ESPN in 2006, Qerm worked at both the NFL Network and CBS Sports Network. That seemed like a long time ago, 2006. Yeah, listen, just like I told y'all with this article here, this right here reads like a resume.
Yeah, like I said, man, she wasn't doing her work. She put the work in.
Maybe she wants to
at the same
get
time,
out of the limelight. She's received criticism.
She received a lot of criticism.
I don't dislike her as
it's not
person,
like she's been like.
But I think that maybe First Take. I think that First Take and her should have broken up a long time ago. I think they should have brought somebody in a long time ago. I'm just being honest. It just seems like
she's there because she's getting paid to be there. And it's been like that for years. That's why First Take has been unwatchable. I'm just being honest. She's just has given off the energy of somebody who's paid to be there. Now, we know that she was married briefly to Jalen Rose, and that didn't work out. And soon after that marriage was over, Jalen Rose role at ESPN
I forgot about that shit.
You know? So, when I look at Molly Qerm and everything, I didn't even know she's been at ESPN that long. But she has. And I just think that maybe she should have probably left ESPN a long time ago. I'm just being honest. I just feel like over the last couple of years, it hasn't been clicking.
She would have got a
That's why they have all those people
and like a different
because you need that many personalities to make up for the fact that Molly Qerm she does not have the personality.
Yeah, she don't.
She does not,
she don't have nothing like like pizzazz to make her stand out except for her body.
Entertaining enough. That's why they have all those people with Stephen A. Smith to make up for that. Doesn't mean again she's a bad person. It just I think that this breakup with her and ESPN probably should have happened a long time ago.
Is she a little bit more funnier?
Where does Stephen A. Smith go from here? Because they've pretty much been together at the desk for over 10 years. And, I would say that they've had decent chemistry. But where does he go? He's the last one standing. Everybody else is gone.
Yeah.
So are they going to have Peter come in there and become the host even after the whole Ryan Clark situation? We will see. But again, hopefully she finds something. She's working, supporting some good causes. Hopefully she's able to land on her feet elsewhere. But I think that her and ESPN probably should have divorced years ago. I really do. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Let me know that video, share, follow me on Facebook, X, Instagram. Check out all the videos on the channel. And I'll see y'all next one.
Gang. We got Stephen A. Smith perspective of what's going on. And let's get into it.
Unfiltered. I'm sorry, unapologetic. I'm not trying to talk about him. Unlike anyone else. But knowing y'all will probably make me. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
We just need somebody who's a little bit more exciting this time. But can blend in.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. The number to call them, as always, is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. And as I always tell you, that's not the only way to reach me. If you want to leave a voicemail message because you don't feel like waiting online all the damn time to talk to me directly, live and in living color.
That's why Molly was mad.
You can always go to SiriusXM.com/
because Stephen A. had all this other shit going on for himself.
SiriusXM.com/get serious. You can even leave your phone number, and in the event that I like what you had to say enough, I'd actually call you back and bring you on the show. So keep that in mind, and keep it all in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to get into today. There's some NFL games that took place last night. One was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Talk about this shit that's going on, man.
Weeding out that victory 20-19. Another was with the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the Las Vegas Raiders and them neutralizing Geno Smith and Pete Carroll on his birthday, nevertheless. And ultimately, the Chargers are 2-0 in the AFC West. There's a lot to get into in regards to that. There's a lot to get into in regards to some of the other games that we may have missed or discussing.
Damn, Stephen A. Smith.
Over the weekend.
I feel like it's going to be a good move for y'all, though. It's going to be a little bit more pizzazz.
That as well. And of course, there's the great one, Tom Brady, the GOAT, the 7-time Super Bowl champion quarterback who's now a minority owner with the Las Vegas Raiders, seen in the booth, in the coaching booth, with headphones on last night. Some people have no problem with it whatsoever. Other people have a big time problem with it. We'll get into all of that as the show progresses, but we know that this is me and we live in different times, and unfortunately, on far too many occasions, pundits, commentators, broadcasters, hosts, etc., find themselves just as relevant in the news cycle as the athletes and the sports that we cover. And that's what's going on today, as it involves Miss Molly Qerm, longtime host for ESPN's First Take, my day job, where she has been
my day
10
job.
years. Last night, she abruptly resigned as the host of the show. And to say that I'm quite sad about it is an understatement. Molly is a friend. Molly is a co-worker. Molly is somebody that I have leaned on many occasions in the past, as she has done when it comes to me. We've been partners on the show for the last 10 years. And a lot of times some of these things happen and it's just uncomfortable to see. The details, quite frankly, are none of y'all business. But it's not as if I know all the details. It was a contract negotiation that was going on. ESPN certainly did not want to lose her. But in the end, she made a decision to walk away from the show effective immediately. As you see from her Instagram post, her Instagram story last night, after much reflection, I've decided it's time to close this incredible chapter and step away from First Take. Hosting this show has been one of the greatest honors of my career. Every morning I had the privilege of sharing the desk with some of the most brilliant, passionate, and entertaining voices in sports, and with all of you, the best fans in the world. To be blunt, it came as a shock. I was not aware that this is something that she was contemplating doing. But in the end, she made her decision. And we have to move on as a show.
It is.
I don't like it. I'm not happy about it. Because I appreciate her and what she has meant to me, what she has meant to the show, what she has meant to the network, what she's meant to the business. And I'm going to miss her. It's just that simple. But we all make decisions that we deem to be in our best interest for whatever reason. And that story is for her to tell. Do I have an idea? Of course I do. Am I going to share it with you? No. Because again, that's her story to tell. But I do think it's important that I started off the show by just acknowledging my love and appreciation for her and what she's meant to me and what she's meant to the show. Because over the years, over the last decade or so, the things that we've accomplished, she was right there. And we can talk about me being the star of my daily television show. We can talk about the contributors that have been stars as well. We can even talk about me doing this show right now. You know, it's a hell of a lot easier to have a second job when the first job is made so easy because you're working with somebody that makes it easy for you. And that's what she did for me personally. And so because of that, I just wanted to wish her the best, let her know the love is always here from myself, from my personal assistant and my right hand, Sumatra, to my security, Juvie, and my sister Carmen, and so many people that have loved her and loved on her over the years. We've got nothing but love for her. That have loved her and loved on her over the years. We've got nothing but love for her. Having said that, I want to move on to a broader subject in regards to this. And this part is not about Molly. This part is about this industry, because I know there's a lot of people that look at sports and, you think you can do this every day. News for you. You can't be.
This nigga ready to step on some haters, nigga.
You can't wake up and be. You can't wake up and be Stephen A. It takes work. It's not just about what you know. It's about what you know about your audience and how to deliver a product to an audience that they're receptive to and they want to embrace and they want to magnetize themselves to moving forward. We're looking at an age with podcasting, folks with their own YouTube channel, everybody aspiring to be their own boss and make their own decisions. But in the end, we all have people to answer to. And I know this subject is piggybacking off of what has transpired with Molly's abrupt resignation per se. But it is important to point out that guess what? It doesn't have to be about her. But when you have negotiations and you're talking with people and you're going back back and forth, and you're hearing things that you may not want to hear or feeling things you may not want to feel, even though you're valued, even though people acknowledge those kind of things. We live in a world where we have to grow up. And again, I'm not talking about Molly here, but I'm watching, and I've been watching over the last several years.
This nigga mad.
People in this business fall by the wayside because we forget that all of us ultimately answer to people. We don't get to define our own value. We don't get to define our own worth. We don't get to sit there and summarily say, this is who I am and this is what I'm going to do. And guess what? I don't give a damn what anybody say unless you have the leverage to do it. Because business is all about leverage. And I'm going to take this opportunity talking to this audience, giving you some insight into who I am and how did I think and how I think to make sure you understand where I come from. When you heard me at a time when we were discussing my contract negotiations all over the media and all throughout the sports world, what I talked about was what my worth was based on what the numbers showed. I talked about these are the ratings, this is the revenue. And I talked about, like I wrote in my book, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes, which was a New York Times bestseller, by the way. I said in the book, I wake up with two things every morning. Two thoughts in mind, prevalent most in my mind.
She could be able to take ESPN.
How do I make my bosses more money? How do I get some of it? I'm going to repeat that. How do I get my bosses more money? How do I get some of it? Why do I say that? Because every one of us answer to somebody. For those of you out there with a YouTube channel, guess what? YouTube can flag your stuff and limit what you can disseminate to the masses. Over the airways of Sirius XM Radio, I have a beautiful deal with this company. I am incredibly happy. It doesn't escape me that Scott Greenstein is my boss. I work at ESPN. I'm incredibly happy with how I have been treated. Dave Roberts is my boss. Burt Magnus is my boss. Mike McQuaid is my boss. Jimmy Pitaro is my boss. Bob Iger is my boss. This notion that everybody gets to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, feeling whatever way they want to feel. When you got your hand out for other people's money, it doesn't work that way. And again, I'm not talking about Molly with all of this. Molly's a separate category. But the reason why I piggyback off the topic of her to get into a more generalized discussion is because I'm seeing people in this business and beyond falling by the wayside and departing from places they don't need to depart from because their excellence at what they do is prevalent and relevant and flagrant. And they should be here. But it can all evaporate in a snap if you lose perspective. And you forget that everybody, and I mean everybody, answers to somebody. There's a beast that has to be fed. And along the way, sometimes it calls for you to make sacrifices you may not otherwise want to make. And what changed my life for the better, that made me a better professional, that made me a better man, was when I woke up and realized my primary objective in the world of business in the capitalistic society that we live in is to make somebody money and to be able to get some of it. Because nobody gets to take it all for themselves. Even the bosses have to surrender resources and assets to people that are under them to make sure everything flows efficiently and fluidly. That's the world we're living in. And you know, when you make moves, when I sat up there and I talked about what my worth was, it's because I knew I had leverage. Because I had other opportunities. You don't say stuff like that when you don't. I did. At that time. That doesn't mean that's going to be the case 5 years from now. Doesn't mean it's going to be the case 10 years from now, or 15 years from now, or it was the case 20 years ago or 15 years ago when I was fired. But in that moment, that was my time. At some point in time, all of us, and this part includes Molly, Frustrations come with everything in the world of business. There will never be 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There will never be a time when all of those hours, days, weeks, months, and years are clean, devoid of stress and strain that wears you down. But you have to make a decision as to whether or not it is going to break you. Don't ever be broken. Don't ever let the system break you, because the system is indiscriminate. It's always coming for you. And it's there to break you, to create opportunities for others who may be less deserving than you, just because they had the intestinal fortitude and the wherewithal to deal with what you couldn't deal with.
Here's a fact.
That applies to Molly, that applies to Stephen A., that applies to every single one of you out there. Most of what I said has nothing to do with Molly's situation. I'm just reflecting on it retrospectively because of so many people that I see in the world of business derailing their own selves because they can't deal with the stress and strain that's inevitable for us all in the world of business. I just wanted to take a moment to touch on that, to start off the show, because I'm living really good right now. My life is cool. But to whom much is given, much is required. And I got so much love for so many people out there. Molly's gonna be just fine. She's terrific. And she's a marvelous human being who is loved by me and everybody at First Take. And so many people within the walls of ESPN and Disney. I can't even tell you how sad people are today that she's not gonna be there any longer. But she always has our love and respect, and we gonna always be there for her. But there's so many others out there watching and thinking about all the other kind of issues that come with our business. Please keep this in mind. Stress and strain comes with everything. The ones who can take it and march forward are the ones who survive and prosper. The ones who can't endanger their ability to do that. Triple A Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. This 888-623-3646. You're listening live to the Steve Show. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Another subject I wanted to get into before I got to the calls. Transitioning back to sports. Not just sports commentators, pundits, and broadcasters, but actual sports is Tom Brady. He's not playing any longer, but the 7-time Super Bowl champion is a minority owner for the Las Vegas Raiders, courtesy of private equity and getting involved retired players and stuff like that. Tom Brady
what y'all think?
is a minority owner
Malik
for the Las
Andrews,
Vegas
man?
Raiders. He's also an NFL broadcaster for Fox. After his 23-year playing career, Brady made his Fox debut last season.
But she gotta have, like, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of personality.
That he originally agreed
and know what the fuck she talking about.
But limitations were put on Brady because of his agreement to become a partial owner of the Raiders, a deal that was approved by league owners in October. As a broadcaster, he gets access to other teams' players and coaches that other owners do not. This has raised concerns about a conflict of interest. Okay? Recently, the NFL relaxed some of its restrictions for him in that role, including allowing him to take part in production meetings. When a broadcast crew...
Of course, Tom Brady won't come in and take over the whole system. That's what he does.
He must take part in those meetings remotely, and he isn't allowed to attend practices at team facilities. That's much we know. That didn't stop the cynics and the critics from going ballistic last night when he was seen in a booth.
I mean, the Raiders ass anyway.
Because a lot of people out there believe this gives him an unfair advantage. Because his access to players, his access to coaches, all right, puts him in a position that most other owners can't be in. Not just for the purposes of recruitment, but also for the purposes of having insight that he can then turn around and give to the Raiders when the Raiders are scheduled to go against an opponent.
Well, they've been cheating. He's been cheating his whole career.
And got insight from. And everybody's raising holy hell. I'm not going to say it's not significant. I'm not going to say that
he's been cheating his whole career.
It's not
what
something
the fuck?
that folks should complain about. What I am going to say, however, is that we can't point the finger at Tom Brady. You turning down 10 years, $375 million?
No.
Raise your hand if you are, because I'm not.
That nigga
turn that down? I'm not turning
that nigga been cheating anyway.
And on top of it all, he's a part owner. You turning that down? I'm not turning that down. The NFL's a cash cow, money machine.
Fucking
it's print dollars.
The Raiders, bitch.
So not only does he have this contract with Fox, he's going to make even more money as an owner of an NFL franchise because the value only elevates. I remind you, Dallas Cowboys, worth $13 billion. Jerry Jones himself worth $16 billion. Number 2 franchise in the NFL is the Los Angeles Rams. They're worth about $10.5 billion. Number 3 franchise in the National Football League is the New York Giants. They're worth about $10.1 billion, according to Forbes.
Yeah, that shit, wow.
So taking all of those things into consideration, I don't know if it's Forbes or Sportico, by the way, but it's one of them. The point is, those are all the kind of things that you got to be worried about. Those are all the kind of things you got to think about. Knowing that, we have to think about those kind of things. And we have to ask ourselves, okay, should Tom Brady be doing this? I'm like, what you looking at him for? That's a Fox decision. That's an NFL decision. If the NFL says it's cool and Fox says it's cool, you're an opposing coach, you're an opposing player, you know he's a part owner for the Las Vegas Raiders, be careful about what you tell him. In terms of anything else, if you got to play by play dude, like a Joe Buck with Troy Aikman,
that's what they do.
Or somebody like that, guess what? Or Mike Tirico with a Chris Collinsworth, guess what? Tirico or Joe Buck's going to get the information anyway. And Tom Brady being a 23-year NFL veteran and a 7-time Super Bowl champion who's played in 10 Super Bowls is going to have the wherewithal and the knowledge to deduce what he can use and what he can't use based on this conversation with them along with watching film of the games. He'll be fine. I'm not going to say as much ado about nothing, but do I think
he trying to get that money on back he lost.
Those are my thoughts.
He dating that billionaire bitch. He said, no, I came back for was mine. I'm going to get it through the motherfucking legal system. But then you know what I'm saying? In the business system.
Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Keep in mind, you want to send in a voicemail. SiriusXM.com/GetSerious is the way to go. That's SiriusXM.com/GetSerious. More of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, with your calls. And
All right, be back. So, from the breakdown of everything, bruh, she wanted more. You know what I'm saying? And it probably could have been way more than just that, you know. You know, like I said, it's hard to work at anything for like 10 plus years at the same position, or not even the same position, the same people, or even not the same people, the same organization. It could just be hard. And it's Crip, you know, I feel like Stephen A. Smith, you know, he get what he kind of wants, you know, because he really like the person who run this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, if Stephen A. Smith gone, it's no ESPN. ESPN done for. Like, it's cooked. Like, Molly Qerm ain't in that bitch. She ain't gonna be in that bitch cooking it up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she got a personality, like, somewhat, and she kind of like, no, but she ain't just like, you know? So it's like, I feel like Malika Andrews would be a nice counterpart of what could be for ESPN. But like I said, you gotta be careful because you want to risk what you already got going. And a lot of shit been happening. But like I said, how y'all feel about it, man? Let me know how y'all feel. Stephen A. Smith said how he felt about it, man. Like I said, bro, when you want to get to that position, bro, you know, you gotta, hey, do what you gotta do. And we have to do, man. Hood and outside. Big Crip in it. Gang, outside shit. Gang shit.
Hey, Dad, you know that when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. You know this is instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.